Hello, and welcome to the Sanibel Captiva Guide podcast. I'd like you to welcome Mike Hammond. Mike and I met at a travel show that was held at Lakes Park in Fort Myers. And it was a trade show where all people get together to show what they've got going on in different places. And I actually got there very early and didn't realise I was there before it actually started. So Mike and I had a nice conversation. Then I realised that it wasn't actually open yet, but Mike was kind enough to have a chat anyway. And Mike is the coordinator of the great Calusa Blueway, which why don't you tell us a little bit about what that is, Mike?
Okay. I can talk for hours, but I'll try to make the quick. It's the Great Calusa Blueway it's a paddling trail throughout Lee County. It's almost 200 miles. Starts down around the Imperial River, down close to Collier, comes the whole way up to Charlotte, goes up the Caloosahatchee River to Henry County, out to the islands out this way. So we've got almost 200 miles. We've got the maps that show you where you can go. We've got the markers out there, points of interest.
Yeah.
We've got everything. We've got the web page, Facebook, and we've got an app. If you want an app, you can go out there and it shows you right where you are on the trail.
No excuse. You cannot not find it.
No, you can't find it. It's a lot of people don't know about it. If you don't know about it, it's definitely worth doing. We've done sections of it. We did the section by Bunch Beach, and it goes through a really cool canopied mangrove area that's super tight as you go through there. And it is so cool. And we've talked about, and we've been doing a lot more talking than doing, but we've talked about taking sections of the Calusa Blueway and trying to figure out how we can do maybe a 10-mile stretch, park a car one end and park a car another, and then load up the kayaks and try and do it piecemeal like that. Because I think, obviously, 200 miles is quite a long way to go.
Yeah, a lot of times I say, well, we used to say 190 miles, but it's closer to 200. So I say 200-mile paddling trail. A lot of people, well, I can't do that. Right. And then they'd walk away from my table and say, no.
Come back.
You do it like I do it. You paddle out a mile back, and then you go to a restaurant and talk about it for an hour, Or,
that sounds like my type of paddling.
Or you do it like you're doing. Now, I'm trying to do the whole Blueway now. And
I was going to ask you if you've actually, so you're still working your way through?
I am, because when you look on the map, especially, there are 3 phases. When you look on all the little creeks, they're about 90 miles going up to Caloosahatchee.
Right.
All the tiny little creeks and tributaries.
Which I wasn't aware of. We live on the Caloosahatchee, and there's actually a spot right opposite where we live on the Cape Coral side, I believe. And I wasn't even aware that it went up there. So there's 3 of these maps, and we'll post them if you're listening, we'll post them in the description below. They're actually online.
And what's the online now that... What's your email address?
CalusaBlueway.com.
CalusaBlueway.com.
It's part of the Lee County VCB site. It's hosted by them, so it's good. It'll show you all the outfitters. It has the maps. It has all the information you need to get out there.
Gotcha.
So we've only really seen the I think it's map 2. Is that the one with Sanibel and Captiva?
Yeah.
So hadn't really looked much into it, and then I realised it actually comes all the way past our house. It goes quite a way up the Caloosahatchee.
Yeah, up to Henry County.
Yeah. So we could easily do that. And then I didn't understand that it went all the way down south as well. So just a quick message before we get back to the show. We put a ton of effort into bringing you quality content. So if you would like to help us share our love of the islands, here are several easy ways. Firstly, you can support us on Patreon. You could purchase an island souvenir from our Etsy store. You can metaphorically buy us a coffee, which is an easy way to donate a couple of bucks.
Don't you prefer tea?
Well, I do, kind of. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all things Sanibel and Captiva. And finally, show some love to our sponsors. Let them know we sent you. All the links are in the description below. Now, back to the episode.
It does. So that's phase 1 is that starts way down, almost in Collier County, down at the Imperial River, and goes the whole way about to the Sanibel Causeway.
Right.
They all 3 maps kind of have the Sanibel Causeway or Bunch Beach. That's sort of the central location.
Right.
But yeah, it goes the whole way down. You can just duck under the bridge and you are in Collier County, and then pop right back on the Blueway and go up to
When
Charlotte.
did they actually develop the Blueway? Do you know?
So phase 1 officially, this has been 20 years.
Really?
It was, yeah. So
wow.
this year would be about 20 years where it was approved, and then they started working on it. When I came down 17 years ago, we were working on phase 2.
Okay.
And then phase 3, you won't find markers out there. People say, how do I know if I'm on the Blueway? If you're on the river, you're on the Blueway. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's no actual.
You don't really get turned around, when you're on the rivers and the
river.
creeks, where you can very easily get turned around the mangrove tunnels and.
Yeah.
Some of these places.
So you brought a little something with you. What do people look out for if you're on the Blueway? Okay. What is the sign that they can see? And we'll put this in the description below as well if you're listening, not watching.
All right, you can see this.
So it's a big square sign, probably about 18 inches, 2 feet square.
Yep.
And it shows crossed paddles, and it basically says marker, Great Calusa Blueway. So
and they're numbered too?
They are numbered. So number one's down by the Imperial River. Out this way, we actually use the alphabet. So if you go to the Sanibel Causeway, on Sanibel, you'll see A, and it goes up to F will be right at Tarpon Bay, and I think we go. I think we might get to M by the time we get out to South Seas.
No, I didn't realize that either.
No, I didn't know that.
Huh. Yeah, so we don't want to confuse people. So we try to break it alphabet. Sometimes you look at a map, if it's a dotted line, that kind of means that's experts only. We don't necessarily recommend, just newbies get out there and hit the dotted line trying to cross Redfish Pass or something.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of current going through there. I can tell from experience if you go at a slack tide if you're going to do it, or an incoming.
I almost got sucked out. Somebody warned me and told me you're going to get sucked out, and I said I'm an experienced paddler, and then I almost couldn't get back in. So
So
the current rips through there. The current rips through there. So
do you know? Has anybody ever done all? Or is there like a Calusa Blueway champion?
There are quite a few people who have paddled almost all the way around Florida. So they've come through. They've paddled down from north to south. There's, I think, 3 people that paddled at least north to south and then up the river. I don't know of everyone who's hit every little tributary like I'm trying to do. So I do have people say, I paddled the whole Calusa Blueway. And I'll usually say, well, how'd you like Trout Creek? And they go, where?
There, you're testing
I said, how do you like Marsh Creek? And they go, where? So I don't know if anyone's hit every little piece.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's
and you're on your way to doing all of them?
I'm close. I've got it. So we just said Redfish Pass. I've got to go across Redfish Pass up to Kayak Tours and then back to Pineland. So I've got some paddling to do.
Oh, so you go get to Pineland. So you launch from Pineland for that?
You can. Not a lot of people. So experienced paddlers will launch from Pineland, maybe go out to Cabbage Key, Kayak Tours, do some camping and coming back. Mm-hmm. We had some inexperienced paddlers try to go out to Cabbage Key, and they totally missed it. And it's easy. If you don't know, it can be easy to miss the islands once you're out there. It looks easy on the maps.
They all look the same.
From water level, all you see is mangroves.
Yeah, and the wind blows, and then all of a sudden you take the easiest path, and then you end up at Kayak Tours instead of Cabbage Key. So when people do ask me, is it hard to paddle to Kayak Tours? Usually that means they don't have. I'll recommend maybe they do something else first. For sure.
And that's quite a hike as well. It's quite a long way, isn't it? From
and to
across open water.
Yeah, it can be. I say on a good day, it can actually be easy. You can get blown there and think this is easy. On the bad day, it's next to impossible. So
and then you've got to turn around against the wind and come back.
Yeah, the time. There's a reason I haven't done it yet.
Do you have an app that you're tracking your paddling?
I don't. I should have. Okay. I really should have. I didn't though. I just kind of started. I've got lots of folks because actually a lot of the markers. So I'm checking the markers along the way.
Make sure they're okay.
And writing articles on the different creeks and places I'm hitting. But it's
well, articles. That's great. I mean, you taking pictures too, or
yeah. I do articles for Coastal Angler magazine once a month. We'll for the local edition put something out so paddlers know where they can put in how much to pay at the ramp, all the different little things like that.
Good.
And are all the launch sites on this map?
We try to get every launch site accessible to the public should be on there.
So how about Sanibel? So we're on Sanibel. Do you know off the top of your head, do you know the public ones on Sanibel?
Yeah, well, so Tarpon Bay.
Right.
And for a while, they when that big project was going on, they were shut down, so they couldn't allow the public to launch.
Right, they were building the marine laboratory there.
But that's finished.
That's done.
Yep. So now that's open again. Bowman's Beach is a great spot. A lot of people don't even know there's that little launch in the back.
It's really nice there.
And that's great if you put your stuff on your boards or in your kayaks and then paddle down a little further, and then you get that section of the beach much more to yourself.
That one you could definitely recommend because it's very protected from the wind.
It is.
You'll see plenty of wildlife.
Yes.
Maybe too much for some people, but
there has been there's a small gator used to hang out there, but he behaved whenever you get in the water. And my daughter was concerned when she was little. She said, "There's an alligator there," but as soon as we walked up, it swam away and did what it was supposed to. It went away, and then we were fine.
But you find manatees, all kinds of bird life.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
And there's also one in Ding Darling. If you go through Ding Darling, now you have to pay through there. But there's actually a kayak launch. There's two, I think, within Ding Darling.
Two official ones.
Right.
Yeah, and they're one of my favorite. The second one, when you get the hardworking bayou, I guess you're launching in there. I prefer that one because it's a little less populated. And if you launch from that first one, I had it happen when I first came down. I wasn't so great with the tides.
Right.
And then it went out, and then all that exposed mud.
Oh, yeah.
And then
how'd you get back?
Well, I started dragging, but then I realized low tide means more birds and more photographers. And then I was trying to go way out around so I didn't disturb anybody. And it was a hike through the mud. So I said, okay, I'll either make sure I know the tide's coming in, or I'll go down the hardworking bayou.
Yeah. So
but
it's very important too.
And it's exhausting walking on that stuff because it sucks you up.
It goes 2 feet deep usually.
They actually say for Ding Darling, you should follow the Cape Coral tide chart. Because it takes that long for
bridge.
the bridge. Yeah.
They also have it posted when you're going in, so there's really no excuse. It says it's for the photographers, but
do it on an incoming tide.
Yeah, especially that first launch.
Right. And it's only I think $10 now to get into Ding Darling, and then you can just park your car right there, and then you're free to
it's well
go
worth
as long as you want.
Yeah. That's
what about Captiva? You've got Castaways. Is that open to the public?
That depends. So I went in and I would ask them. They're very nice in there. Bill, who works in there, he wants to let you do it, but sometimes they get so busy in season they just can't.
Right.
But
when they're parking.
But when they're not busy, for sure he'll let you get in there, and you do have to park down around in the back. But they will let you launch when it's not too busy. When they get busy, they just can't.
Right.
But you can use blind pass too. We got Turner Beach. It's just a matter of getting there early enough to get a spot.
I know, that's the problem. There's only like 20 parking spots.
That's it. For the county people coming out, if you have your Sanibel pass, it's easier, but if you don't, it's a little trickier.
Yeah.
And then there is one pass the whole way down launch Andy Rossi Lane.
Yes.
The problem is you can't park there.
You can't park there. Right by the Mucky Duck is when... Oh, no, the other side. By McCarthy's, I think, either side.
It borders McCarthy's, but there's so many people that want to hang out there. I said, just let them drop you off. Go do your thing. They can go to the Mucky Duck or anywhere. They can hang out, and then they pick you up.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great spot there. You'd see Rauschenberg's art studio is right there. On the stilts, which is famous.
Where Ding Darling's.
You can't see from. It was Ding Darling's original art studio. You can't actually see it from Captiva anywhere unless you're on the water. So
I love that.
That's a cool spot.
That spot. I remember the first time I paddle past, I was like, that looks like Doc Ford's house, and then realized it kind of is.
Yes, right. Fictional house. Yeah, originally Ding Darling's.
Oh, I did not know that.
And there's a lot of. There's actually a lot of spots close to that area as well. I know Tween Waters has a launch, but again, I'm not sure if that's open to public.
It's not. You can't bring your own gear in there. I just went out with them last week. Had a great tour. I try to get out with the outfitters and let people know what their business is about and what to expect if they can get out. So I was out with them last week. Had a great tour. But you have to.
You're go using, through them.
Yeah, you're renting their equipment and you're doing there. You can't come in with your own stuff. Again, they don't have the parking to have people come in and launch.
Always a problem.
And did you go out to Buckeye? Is that where you did?
Yeah, we went out. We went through the tunnel and around.
I want to do that so bad.
That's great.
It cool?
It is. It's so the tunnel at Bunch Beach is more enclosed, which it's kind of neat, but it can be pretty tight. This is nice and open, so you're not banging into each other as much. And it is. We saw a lot. We saw mangrove, the marsh snakes. A couple were in there, which I don't want to deter anyone. They're harmless, but it was really cool to see. I don't see them often. Cormorants were actually hunting fish right under us. I didn't realize they use our shadows to hunt, so it was really cool.
I didn't know that.
I thought they were coming out to beg for bait, but no, they were using us to hunt, and they ate more fish than I could. It was crazy how much fish they were catching.
So does that tunnel go through Buckeye, or is it kind of comes out the other side?
Yep, it does. Okay. There used to be several of them, but I think was it Charlie? I think Charlie closed a bunch of them, but they did keep one open, and that's Adventure Sea Kayak and Sup. They're the business that's there.
Gotcha.
Brian Houston, he's not down in Florida anymore, but he started that business years ago. So he's.
So you'd recommend them if you wanted a guided tour?
Oh yeah, that's a great, and it's a great spot that you really don't have access to necessarily, unless you want to paddle a good distance, they're right there. They'll shoot you right across.
You can just get straight across. How long of a tour is it? Do you remember?
I think it's about a 2-hour tour.
Yeah, which is perfect.
And then Tarpon Bay does a guided tour too.
Oh, Tarpon Bay Explorers.
Tarpon Bay. Oh yeah, yeah. I went with them recently I went for Sunset.
Okay,
that was amazing.
They have the rookery, the bird rookeries.
Yes. Yeah. We saw so many species coming in, and all the little sharks, the dolphins, the manatee. I said, I can't believe I didn't see a manatee as I was pulling in.
There was one there,
and it popped up, and we almost bumped into each other.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one dump you out of your kayak?
Almost. And I've seen it happen before on my paddle. I'm usually on the paddleboard, so you also have that little extra of a fin,
right?
And it's easier to get toppled over. We were just at Special Olympic practice. We're training an athlete. She's going to Orlando for the USA Games.
Oh, neat.
So just about 2 hours ago, a couple manatees popped up, and they were right next to her. I mean, they don't seem to mind. You know, I always try to give them space, but sometimes they just pop up right next to you.
Yeah, so go back to that. Well, we got to talk about the Special Olympics because you are still a little bit wet.
I'm still
you just
sandy. Yeah, sorry.
So no, you're fine. We're used to sand here, believe me. So tell me about your involvement with Special Olympics.
So Lee County has a Special Olympics stand-up paddleboard team. It's probably almost about 10 years ago. But we have now, for the first time, we have an athlete. The USA Games are going to be in Orlando. 4 years ago, they were in Seattle, but we have an athlete that's going to she's going. So we've been training her. And we also have our regular team. The regular team has started too. So we're going to have them ready for regionals and then states. But we practice at Bunch Beach. And it's amazing. We see the manatees, the dolphins, you know, occasionally a nurse shark will go through, and sea turtles are out there. It's really cool because you're doing a sport, you're training, but there's also such an appreciation for the ocean and everything that's out there. And
what's the name of the athlete?
Leanne.
Leanne.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know her last name?
Yeah, we'll say Leanne.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, no problem. Okay. I didn't know if anybody wanted to follow her and root her on. No worries.
So just going back to the manatee are not in the slightest bit aggressive. They're just a little bit clumsy, if anything. So if you were to get knocked off, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. They're just harmless. They're
just trying to get away. Yeah. That's the thing is, when they get away, it's the big fluke, the big tail coming up, and they give a whoop, and then it's...
It's just a very powerful stroke that hardly seems to move, but it sends a ton of water one way.
It does. They're when you actually see them, it's one thing when you see them online or see it on TV, but when you see one in the water, how big they are, and they move a lot of water. They displace a lot of water when they move, but they're just trying to get away.
So cute.
Oh, I love them.
Face only a mother could love.
I love them.
They're so adorable.
I do try to be conscious. I don't want to get close to them. It's a law. You're not supposed to approach them. So sometimes I'm trying to. It's funny when you're trying to stay away from them, but they want to come over, and they do like to bump the board sometimes, and you're just like, no, we're not supposed to interact, but
they do come up.
Yeah. So you paddleboard most of the. So can you paddleboard the Calusa Blueway?
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to finish. Yeah, you can. Gotcha. You can paddleboard it. You can kayak it.
Isn't paddleboarding a little bit harder?
It can be with the wind. Yeah, with the wind, and it's. So, with kayaking too, while one blade's out of the water, the other one's in the water. It's paddleboarding. It's like canoeing where you're
one in, one out.
Yeah.
It's just keep switching side to side. Probably keeps you fit though.
It keeps my balance pretty good.
So you might have noticed the strange person at the back there. We got my cousin over visiting from England, and she's always watching the podcast. So we said come in.
Can we actually see her? Because you can't actually.
Yeah, you can. That's just on the monitor. But gotcha. So if Hannah was coming from England and you wanted to watch which
and a very
section,
novice.
She's never paddled anything ever.
Where would you recommend she start? Where would be a good place to start?
So a lot of times the first thing I'll do is say, where are you staying? Because that helps. Because 190 miles. If they're staying down in Bonita, then I might not recommend someplace further north. But especially in Sanibel, I would recommend absolutely Tarpon Bay, because Tarpon Bay, the explorers, they have great equipment. It's so protected, lots of wildlife, so you will have a great experience. But also they have the American Canoe Association training, so they've got the safety. So I know they'll come back. I don't want to send the tourists out somewhere and then we don't get them back.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah, so lots of wildlife, great experience. The tour I took, the guide, she was very knowledgeable. So that's one place. Bunch Beach, nice, protected, lots of wildlife. If someone's staying down Bonita, I might recommend I don't know, Lover's Key. If you go out to Lover's Key, the state park,
Right.
lots of manatees there. The Imperial River, Calusa Ghost Tours. If you're out in Matlacha, Gulf Coast kayaking, they're American Canoe Association guides. They take you out.
Oh, so they'll do a guided tour.
They do too, and there are always dolphins and manatees hanging out around there. I was trying to stay away from the dolphin, just wanted to get a video from the distance. And then they come under, they're circling the board, and I was just going, please don't knock me off,
So in case you're not aware, Matlacha is the small island in between Pine Island and Cape Coral, and it's the bridge going over to Pine Island. So
Did you say there's ghost tours?
Calusa Ghost Tours. John Pano actually started that. He was one of the first people out in the Randall Research Center on Pine Island. He knows a ton about Calusa and all the barrier islands and the history. They moved their business down to Bonita. It's called Calusa Ghost Tours. He used to take people out on the ghost boats, the big Calusa canoes.
Oh, wow.
So he's retired, but they still do great tours, and that's really protected. They're right off of Old 41.
Down by the Coruscant State Park, or
no, they're
Old 41.
Old 41. So down
down
by the Everglades Wonder Gardens.
oh yes.
So you're right across to their launch, and you hear the peacocks and these exotic birds, and
that is a fantastic place. It's come along a long. It's definitely worth a visit if you're in this area. It comes off of 41, and
They're
then
in the artist cottages, right?
Yeah. They've got
CGT.
Yep.
Yeah.
CGT. I'm sorry, I should have said CGT.
Yeah. Do they go by Calusa Ghost Tours? Because I never seen it fully spelled out.
That's what CGT means.
Stands
But
for, right.
but I should have said CGT, but it's Calusa Ghost Tours.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were down there. That's awesome.
Yeah, I drive by there all the time.
So let's
Fantastic.
talk about your background. Where did you come from? How did you end up paddling 200 miles
That's
around?
a lot of people. How did that happen? My dad was a open canoer. He's a whitewater paddler. He was a whitewater instructor, and he raced.
And where was this?
In Pennsylvania. But he would take us on trips. We go to Canada, Adirondacks. We go took me to Costa Rica, Minnesota, Boundary Waters. So we go out for a week in the canoes. Which when I was a little kid, I kind of want to go back and watch my cartoons. And no, we're gonna be out here for a week. So we would just go out.
This is pre-cell phones, probably. No Wi-Fi.
I can't imagine now taking your two little kids and your wife now and just going off into the wilderness for a week.
But that's what you did.
That's what he did.
I'm sure you had great
I can't
memories.
imagine not having a cell phone.
All right.
Well, you're just disconnected. You're out there. If you forgot to bring something, what? Yeah.
Too bad.
And so that was our background, was growing up paddling and
So did
doing
you bring
lots of
tents
trips.
that you would sleep in? Or?
Yeah. Everything well, luckily canoes are huge. They could fit all kinds of stuff in the canoes. But my dad and little brother had one. My mom and I had another, and we would just go out for a whole week.
Wow. Would you have to catch your dinner?
No,
You'd
we would
bring
try
stuff?
sometimes. Sometimes that was more trouble than it's worth, because then by the time you clean the fish, you've invited other things into your camp that can smell
Gotcha.
you caught fish, so you have to be very careful.
Right.
But yeah, that's how. And then Boy Scouts, and then I moved down here. My background had been a probation officer, and I came down here and was a probation officer very briefly. But when I saw the parks down here, I said, that's where I want to work.
Wow, much better than probation officer, I
Yeah,
think.
so I just started volunteering, and then a job came open at Calusa Regional Park. They wanted someone who could paddle and liked working with kids, and it just, one thing led to another, park ranger, and then this job came open. So,
oh, wow.
So what are your day-to-day tasks? What are your day-to-day? Obviously, I saw you at the travel.
yeah.
What was that? What was the proper title of it?
It was the travel rally, I think.
the
Lee County
Travel Rally. Yeah. So it varies all the time. I had someone else that just asked me that. So today's Special Olympic practice, ran to Doc Ford's to pick up some books, because Randy's donating books for it online. We're doing something on Facebook. Tomorrow's Wear Your PFD to Work Day.
Okay.
So he's donating books, because in his books, the kids in the books wear their PFDs. So he's helping us with water safety. So
this is Randy Wayne White,
Yeah.
who has the book series Doc Ford,
Yeah.
and then he also has written some children's books. And
but
he's
his children's books, adults, they're like to say, like Huckleberry Finn was supposed to be like a children's book too.
Right.
Yeah, so adults like his the kids' books too. But
I think my grandpa is reading it. Your dad, Mom. Isn't he reading one of them he got for Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Crocs is the new one. So he's donated some books. So social media, like I said, do it. Special Olympics.
So you have to wear your.
I will tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably an office day too, where it won't make as much sense as it did earlier today when I was wearing it on the water.
Right. Just walking around with one.
It always varies. I'll go out, check the markers. I have volunteers to check the markers. Grant writing, all kinds of it always varies, but we do want to make sure we've got as much accurate information and the markers are out there and
So how would, if somebody's got questions about the Blueway, how would they get in touch with you?
So they can just, if they go on the CalusaBlueway.com site, they can post questions from there. I'm easy enough to get a hold of at the Parks Department. I work for Lee County Parks and Rec, so it's easy to get a hold of me, the Parks Department. But I love those questions. We get a lot of questions. People are coming down. They'll look on the maps, and then they'll just have follow-up, questions.
Right. So the maps online, you have to you print them off, correct?
Yeah.
How about if you want the physical map?
You could just request them. Just email us and request them.
And you would mail them to you?
Yeah.
Okay, because it is nice to have the maps.
Laurie's got a thing about physical books.
I do love it. I don't know
But they're
why.
pretty extensive, if you can see. I'm not sure if you...
Well,
to the left. There you go.
Yeah. The cool thing is, too, it'll show you the points of interest. It'll show you if there is a launching fee. Basically, if they're bathrooms, all the information you need.
Yeah,
so, like with
great.
the family, you kind of do want to know: are there going to be bathrooms? Is there going to be food, water?
Yeah, for sure.
And there's 3 of these covering all different areas. So yeah, definitely they're worth picking up anyway, even if you don't do it, because there's a ton of good information on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic.
Very cool.
All right, awesome.
So what do you do when you're not paddling? Or working? Do you have any favorite things
family.
to do?
family stuff. Yeah,
Now,
whatever.
Have you gotten your kids into? Do you have children?
Yeah. Yep.
And have you taken them on a week-long trip into the wilderness?
As I said, I'm not as brave as my dad.
Right.
I'm just not, and I don't know if my wife would go along with it. Like my mom did. Hey, we're just going off into the Everglades for a week.
Right.
Probably like have fun by yourself.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Hope you come back.
Yeah. So it's a lot of what are the kids doing and things.
Right.
I'm lucky I get to do a lot of this. I do a lot of this stuff during the workday. So during the weekends, it's what do the kids want to?
Right.
You know one thing we didn't ask, and I think there's a place down in at Bunch Beach. But if somebody didn't want to do a guided tour and just wanted to rent kayaks, where would they go?
Bunch Beach, you can go on a tour, or you can just rent them from. And it'll be in here too. You find a site like Bunch Beach. I'd like to paddle there. And it'll say who to call to rent them from. Because same with Tarpon Bay, you don't have to. You don't
have to do a guided.
You don't have to do a guided tour.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just rent them and go out. So you can do that.
Does Ding Darling do rentals?
No.
Tarpon Bay. So Tarpon Bay is part of. That's
Ding
it.
Darling.
Tarpon Bay Explorers,
Right.
Yeah.
And how about from the Causeway? There's people that launch. Can you launch from the Causeway? You can't.
You can launch from the Causeway, but there are no vendors out there.
Right.
You just can't launch jet skis.
You can't launch motorized
vehicles.
Right. You're not supposed to back any trailers up because of all the erosion issues we've had. And I was a park ranger out there, so there were erosion issues.
Yeah, which they're trying to detour that
eradicate.
Now. Yeah, I guess that's the word for it.
Yeah.
But you could, I guess, go out to Picnic Island from there.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You can paddle out. That's actually part of the Blueway. So marker 51, as you're coming over to Sanibel Carts, over the big span, you're coming from the mainland, you look down to the right, you'll see marker 51. And I believe 52 is then out towards Picnic Island, or it's on Fisherman's Key and then Picnic Island. But that's the way the Blueway kind of heads up that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one's not for the... I would not do that
Faint
just to
of
start
heart.
off with. It's
What,
gonna be quite
paddle
a
to
long
Picnic
one.
Island?
If the wind starts... Yeah, the open water, that's why lots of like Tarpon Bay, you can get a lot of miles in Tarpon Bay and still be, if the wind really blows, it blows you towards protection versus out.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Max, you got anything for us?
All right. Me and Hannah have some trivia back here.
So I'm going to give you this board. We have to have boards for Laurie because she likes to...
This should be a lot of callbacks, so we'll see how much you guys were paying attention earlier in the episode.
Uh-oh. All right.
Okay.
We're ready. So Max is going to ask the question.
Hannah's going to ask the first question. First guest question asker in the history of the podcast.
Okay.
So we're starting there. All right, is everyone ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
Okay. How many miles is the Calusa Blueway?
Oh. Okay.
And this is officially listed on the website.
Oh. Okay. So did you write the website?
Yeah.
I have to adjust it then.
What is officially listed? Does everyone have an answer?
Okay, I've got it.
What'd you put, Nick?
I put 198.
I put about 190.
190 is the answer. That is correct.
Hold on.
After I just said it's almost 200.
Yeah.
It's almost 200. 198.
I said officially listed on the website. This is public information
my
is
first,
190.
Oh, was it you erased
My first was 190 to 200. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Publicly listed as 190.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately for you, Father.
Like they say the bike paths out here are about 25 miles. I want to know to like the exact.
Well, no one paddles straight.
This is true.
Yeah. And you can't like measure waterways to an exact degree. The more, the finer you get, the longer the waterway gets, you know? And then it depends on tides and stuff.
That's the thing. I said no one paddle when you go boom. It's that no one paddles straight.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Next question.
All right. 1-1.
The official annual race of the Blueway held on Fort Myers Beach is called what?
The official annual race.
We did not talk about this one today.
I want to know about that though.
We could branch off.
Yes.
I'll give you a hint. It's alliterative.
Oh.
Alliterative.
Oh.
That would be great if I knew what that meant.
I don't have it because mine is not alliterative, what I've written down.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going for...
Bonus point for who knows what alliterative means. Dad, you go first.
I don't know. I've already said. Hannah knows. She's got a hand up.
All right, Dad, go ahead. What you got?
I got the Blueway paddle completely made up.
I got the Great Calusa Race.
Good one. What is it?
Battle on the Blueway.
The Battle on the Blueway.
I better know it since I work in it.
Yeah.
All right.
So we actually haven't done that for a couple years, though.
Because of COVID? Or,
yeah, because of COVID. And right now we're looking for another location where we might have a little bit more space for people to come in. So
it's coming back soon?
We want to bring it back, yeah.
This year or next?
It'll probably have to be next year.
Next
year.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Keep your eye.
June. Yeah, definitely not this year.
All right.
Okay.
So keep your eye out for that.
All righty.
Alliterative means that the word and the word following have the same first letter.
Oh.
Battle Blueway.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
There you go.
So-
Little tid. The more you know.
The mic is in
All
the
right.
lead now.
All right. Here we go.
2 points.
Next question. This is another throwback.
The Calusa Blueway was established in what year?
Oh, okay.
He didn't say exactly the year, but he did say
About,
how long it's been around.
No.
Well,
Answers,
I
please.
know how long you've been here, Mike. And it's just a question of whether it was going before you got here. 2005.
2002. What is
2002.
2002.
This is 20 years. Yeah.
All right, we have one more question. Even though there's a sole leader, we'll see if we can have someone come back.
it? Well, I could tie, Mike.
You could tie. That's what I'm
So we're
saying.
3-2-0?
No, I'm just warming up.
He's warming up. All right, final question.
I'm coming for you, Mike.
There we go.
Watch out.
All right, final question.
The final leg of the Blueway was established in what year?
Oh, no
This
clue.
is the
Uh-oh.
Oh, see, I might.
the Calusa leg debuted in
No, cheating.
debuted in October of what year?
Oh, okay.
It was the final leg to be added.
I'm going.
As far as I know.
Yes.
Okay. Oh. Are you confident, Mike?
Nope.
All right, Mike, you go first.
Hold on.
All right, Mike.
I don't think I got it.
Max, is it closest without? We need to know the.
You can't
parameters.
change it.
Okay.
just closest.
Just the closest.
Okay.
And then if there's a tie, it's the closest without going over.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to change mine.
No.
Oh, should I change mine now?
No. All right, Mike, you have 2005.
I do.
I put 2010.
10.
I got 2004, which Mike had, and then changed it.
What, were you cheating?
No, I just saw him change it just
You
then.
lucky.
I have bad news. Mike wins because of his changed answer.
No way.
It was 2007, which would have been a three-way tie. But he wins, unfortunately. Fortunately, sorry. Fortunately, he wins.
You got to ding the
You got
bell.
to ring
Mike.
the bell, Mike.
boy.
What an honor.
Awesome. Great job. Well, thank you so much for coming out and joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be on the Blueway, checking it out for sure.
I can't wait
And
to
Make a video about it. I can't believe we haven't made a video about it yet.
No, we should. We should put it on the list. Let's put it on the list.
But we'll fly it instead of paddling it.
Fly it.
We'll just get the drone up.
Get the drone.
Now that's lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no drones in Ding Darling, so you
Yeah,
can't
that's
paddle it.
true. So we need to go there.
We'll have to have boots on the ground for that one.
Yeah. Awesome, Mike. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you.
Make
you,
sure
Mike.
you come back and join us on the next one. If you enjoy this, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Have a great one, everybody. Okay, and a quick shout out to our supporters. Without our supporters, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Bailey's General Store, Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill, Spoondrift Island Bowls, 3 Crafty Ladies, GatorBites Tailor Nail, Priscilla's of Sanibel, Coco y Cabana, Suncatchers Dream, and Sanibel Carts. And don't forget to reach out to Captains for Clean Water, one of our favourite island charities. Thanks very much. See you on the next one.